Well, welcome everyone. I'm Beryl Kay. I'm the president of Action for Nature. So, on behalf of our board of directors, I want to thank everybody for being here. It's wonderful to get together and hear from our eco heroes and have hear their presentations each year. We are so proud of this year's eco heroes. You are all wonderful people. You are what the world needs to make the world and the future a better place. Besides welcoming you, I'd like to welcome any parents and donors and supporters and guests of Action for Nature. So we're going to have a keynote speaker, and then Chris, who is our board member, he's going to take over and introduce all the eco heroes. And at the end, Shreya, another board member, is going to have a very exciting announcement for us about plans for an alumni network. So I would like to start with our keynote speaker, Jade Bothmer. Jade lives in South Africa. She started her own organization when she was 12 years old to address the troubling subject of plastic in our oceans and on our beaches and how to recycle some of those plastics. So, Jade, welcome, and I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here today. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me before I get started. So, my name, like you said before, is Jade Bothmer, and I started my own nonprofit organization called Oceano Dance when I was 12 years old. Through my nonprofit, we create eco bricks, which are plastic bottles stuffed with plastic. And we use these eco bricks to hopefully one day build a house for a homeless person and a school. Along with that, we do zero waste to landfill beach cleanups, and we collect brand data on all of the litter that we've been finding on the beaches over the last 8 years. We do this so that we can go to big companies and corporates like Coca-Cola, etc., and hold them accountable for the litter that we're finding on the coastlines of South Africa. Along with this, I also teach children from underprivileged areas about the ocean and the environment and why we should protect it. So I started my nonprofit when I was 12. And back then, I was just a normal 12-year-old girl. I knew about like climate change and the bad things that were happening in our environment, but I didn't really have an incentive to do anything about it. I attended beach cleanups now and then, but I just thought, I'm just a girl in school. Like, I'm just like everyone else. How's it going to help if I do something to make a difference? It all changed when I watched a documentary on Netflix called Chasing Coral, and it was about the coral reefs being bleached. This really impacted me, but what impacted me more is I was feeling really upset after I'd watched this documentary. And I was looking to the older generation from South Africa, especially where I'm from, and seeing who in the older generation is driving a change. And there was no one that I could particularly look up to. And that really impacted me. And that's what drove me to start my nonprofits. That small step led Oceano Dance to become what it is today. And that small decision that I made to start my nonprofit changed my life in a way that I could never have imagined. So, along the way, I learned that no one is ever too young to make a change. I didn't have all the answers. I had so many questions. But I just kind of winged it and I went with it. And I learned so much along the way. Something that stuck with me was that every small action creates ripples and ripples grow into waves. From traveling to Antarctica to Hawaii and so many other countries, I've had the opportunity to meet such amazing young activists like you all who are here today. And this really inspires me and makes me feel faithful for the youth of today because we are the people who can drive the change. The simple truth is, you should never stop taking action and you should never, ever stop believing. Running my nonprofit for the last 8 years have taught me that anything is possible. I'm now following my dreams to create a sustainable sleepwear brand because I believe in myself and I believe that belief fuels courage and courage fuels change. We are the leaders of tomorrow and we are the change makers of today. The world needs our voices, our ideas, and our hope now more than anything. We are the next leaders, we're the next politicians, the next businessmen, the next businesswomen. And today is a celebration, but it's also a reminder. If we never stop acting and believing, imagine the change that we can make in the world. I really encourage you all today to listen to one another's projects and think of ways that you can collaborate with one another, because collaboration amongst the youth is probably one of the most powerful tools that I've learned from running my nonprofits. In ending, I want to leave you with something that's very close to my heart.
Mhm.
We are the change the world is waiting to see. Any idea that you can ever have, it's never too large or ambitious, and never let anyone tell you otherwise. Never stop believing in yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jay. That was fantastic. I just want to make a really quick reminder to everyone, if you need closed captioning, there's a little CC square at the bottom if you need anything like that during this conference. Thank you so much, Jay. That was wonderful. We're going to pass it over to Chris, who will be our MC for the day, and start out with our next presenter. All right, over to you, Chris.
Thank you, guys. I am just super charged up to be here today. And I also have my favorite co-host here from Tree Frog Treks, Spike, Tangerine Dream, to support me when I forget things. We are connected, as you can imagine. Two things I'll say is I echo everything Jade was mentioning about being courageous and never giving up and doing what you can when you can. Being available to listen to others is really important. Co-regulating and co-creating is really not only part of the human spirit, but it is how we got to where we are today, advancing through civilizations and having overcome many other downfalls and risings of civilizations. And here we are again, now trying to rise above some of our own challenges that you guys are helping us take action for. And then secondly, you all know Jane Goodall, the famous anthropologist studying chimpanzees. You know, two of the things that she says that I think really are relevant today are that the human spirit is an indomitable spirit, and it continues to surprise us with new ways of thinking and doing things. And the creativity, enthusiasm, and naivete of the young mind is even more powerful. And that is why we're here today. And it gives us all pause and extraordinary excitement to introduce our first speaker. Unless there's any questions that any of you might have before we start, the process will go every few moments. We'll have a speaker, questions and answers, Q&A, and then we'll continue down 2 to 3 minutes per person. But we'll open up the forum right now for any overall questions for myself, Chris joining, one of the board members and active naturalist in the field in San Francisco. And then, of course, any other board members that are here today. Does anybody have any questions for us right now? Oh, yes, Spike wants to know when he's going to get his strawberry. That's what he was saying. So here we go. I'll put this down here for you, and you can have them in a minute. So get yourselves ready, fill yourselves up. If you need to grab a drink or a snack or run off to the bathroom, that's fine. I'll let you know who's in the green room right now. It's Ana Lucia. So get yourself ready, Ana Lucia. I'd like to introduce one of my, I'd say, favorite places I'd like to visit more than once. I've been there once, to Puerto Rico. She has a great project, De a Poquito por Puerto Rico. I often swim in the bay, and I think about how beautiful it was to swim in the ocean in Puerto Rico when I visited in the rainforest and the coast. So Ana Lucia Perez Escalera, are you ready to take it away? 1, 2, 3, up to you.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity of being here along with all of the rest of the eco heroes of this year. It's a huge honor for me to be here and to have this opportunity to speak about my project and, of course, be part of the change. So, my name is Ana Lucia Perez Escalera. I'm 13 years old from Puerto Rico, and I am the founder of a nonprofit organization called De a Poquito por Puerto Rico. When I was 11 years old, I noticed that I could use my voice to create awareness and drive change. I have always loved nature, wildlife, our beaches, but I noticed that there was so many people affecting our oceans and our planet, and they were just not conscious about it. So I decided to use my voice to create this awareness, to inspire people to become more aware of how their actions affect our planet. So I created this organization which its mission is to educate about the importance of caring for the environment and its ecosystems, eradicate improper waste management to prevent it from reaching rivers and oceans, and I promote careers in STEAM fields, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, but especially those that help protect the environment. And I conduct different activities such as talks, presentations at fairs and events, beach cleanups, art workshops, promoting recycling and waste reduction, among others. And mainly, my mission is to educate people and basically create awareness about how our actions can impact either negatively or positively our earth. And this is through different activities. One of them is something I really like to talk about, which is a hackathon called Brainy Hacks. And this is an event for young people aged from 12 to 16 years. And they are an entire day using science, art, and technology to solve different challenges, environmental challenges, um, through apps. So this is a really beautiful event that I have created and I have hosted already 4 times. And my plan is to keep creating these events through the entire island to keep educating kids, especially kids and young people, because I think we are the future leaders. And even though we might be the generation most affected by climate change and all these environmental concerns, we're also the ones who can make a difference.
Mhm.
Also, I just launched, sorry, my first book on environmental conservation. It's a children's book called A Better Planet for Sarah, and it's a really beautiful story which educates about marine ecosystems and species, ocean awareness, conservation, and I'm really proud to say that this is my first book, and I will be creating more books to keep educating, especially children, young people, but this is really something that all families should have, and should start promoting environmental education since early stages of life, because when we have that education, we're going to create a sense of love and responsibility for nature, leading to a society that is conscious of how their actions can affect the environment and how we can be more eco-friendly, what we can do, how we can join different organizations and different efforts in order to keep caring for our planet. And like my organization says, little by little, we can make a big difference. No action is too small to make a difference. And with little changes that we make every day, made by a ton of people, we're eventually going to make a really big difference. So thank you so much again for the opportunity. And I'll be answering some questions if anyone has. And thank you.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. We had a quick question from one of our judges. She wanted to know where we can get your book. This is Barbara, one of our longtime judges. Do you have any information for us on that?
Yes, you can buy it on Amazon. It's available at Better Planet for Sarah. And then you can support me and also read this beautiful story. I illustrated it as well as, of course, I wrote it. And it's available already on Amazon.
That's fine. And who is Sarah?
Sarah is my niece.
Oh.
And I inspired this book on my niece, but it's my mission is to inspire people to think about their families, about their children, the future generations, and inspire them to take action now so we can have a better planet for them.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I totally echo once again, do what you can when you can. Even a small action of just picking up one small cigarette down on the ground and throwing it away could stop a forest fire, could clean up a place, could save a turtle from, having a heart attack out there. You know what it is. Just one little thing, but don't overwhelm yourself because you don't want to get out of the fight. You want to stay in the fight and maintain your long-term endurance because we're in it for the long haul. Any quick questions for Ana Lucia, which was just a beautiful, beautiful presentation. Great way to start. Thank you so much for being such a bright light to illuminate this whole program today.
Thank you.
If you have questions, you can chat up too. We're going to casually move through fairly quickly. Yeah.
Well, there is a Q&A for the audience, so I just want to make sure that's working if anybody has a question from the attendees. And then, of course, all of our panelists, you guys can raise your hand or just unmute yourself if you have a question, as well as in the chat. I did have one question. I wanted to ask you, Anna, if there is, what is the most important lesson you want to teach others through your eco education project?
I think the most important lesson I could tell them is that every little action can make a difference, and we can't wait anymore. Our planet is calling us, that it needs our help. And the most important thing is that some people don't think about it, but all climate change, plastic pollution, all these problems, besides affecting our planet and our species, also affect us. And I think that's something super important for people to know because that's also affecting our health. And we need balance. We need, yes, we are going forward in time with new technologies, but we also need to maintain that balance. So I think that's one of the most important lessons I can teach them.
Yes, absolutely. And Barbara just bought your book. She's super psyched. So, and so will we. We're going to move on to the next speaker so that we can continue the role. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Ana Lucia. So in the green room, get yourself ready. Harshita, we're going to talk a lot about restoring what came before and bringing back the resiliency of our ecosystems. And of course, your project is all about that through the seed bank that you're creating. The title of your project from India, Indigenous Seed and Grain Banks, a very, very, very courageous and difficult project to undertake, given the rarity of the seeds and the difficulty of preserving them. So I'd like to introduce Harshita Priyadarshini Mohanty right now, our second place winner for biodiversity conservation. Go ahead and take it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Harshita.
Oh,
We're losing your audio right now. Let's see if we can try that again.
shoot.
Layla's going to try to fix that.
I think you got frozen. Let's see.
Hello, everyone. Namaskar. Jai Jagannath. I'm Harshita Priyadarshini Mohanty. I can't hear you.
Getting better.
Yes, I'm from tribal area.
Yeah, your video froze. Maybe turn off your video and then you can try to speak just to make the connection a little bit better.
I'm from Prakash Vidyalaya, Jaipur, Koraput, Odisha, India. My project is on agrobiodiversity conservation of indigenous paddy and millet seeds. Due to global warming and climate change, it is affecting on our fooding style due to day-to-day usage of.
Oh, we're losing you, Harshita. I'm so
Okay.
it's a little, the connection's a little,
I'm Harshita Priyadarshini.
oh, shoot.
Oh, she's left. She's going to try to reconnect, I think.
Okay.
I'll fill you in on a few small aspects of her project while she's getting herself organized. She's done an incredible job collecting native seeds from farmers that still were planting them over the collective commercial stock and was preserving them and then giving them away to other farmers to encourage them to utilize these native seeds, millets and other grains that have a more resilient nature for drought and lower nutrients, maybe produce a little bit less than some of the commercially available brands, but require much less water, fertilizer, and of course, no pesticides or herbicides. The project was undertaken on a beginning scale and then ramped up quickly where more and more farmers that were utilizing indigenous seeds joined in and offered her the seed stock to create her own seed bank, which is a big deal. So she's now got in her stockpile many, many dozens. She can tell you how many native seeds that can be planted in the soil in and around her neighborhood in India, which, as you know, is a tremendous boon for not just securing for food security for the future, but also for the farmers to have the ability to gain seeds for the future. So she's joining us again. So Harshita, we just filled them in a little bit about some of the things you were doing. Maybe we can hear it from your own voice again.
Okay. I'm audible?
Yes.
Much better.
Cheers.
So my project is on agrobiodiversity conservation of indigenous paddy and millet seeds. Due to global warming and climate change, it is affecting on our fooding style. Like in day-to-day life, in agricultural farming, uses of chemical and highly production seeds for this our fooding style is going to be poisonous and polluted, which is directly affecting to our survival and health. By analyzing this, I am conserving, spreading, and multiplying the indigenous seeds through my seed and green bank, Harshita Priyadarshini Seed and Green Bank. In this seed and green bank, I have conserved 250 varieties of indigenous seeds of local land races of paddy and 80 varieties of local land races of finger millet, 6 varieties of little millet, and other forgotten foods like lima beans, wild fruits, and wild vegetables, and many more. So from last 3 years, I have introduced my Project Harshita, in which in which I'm providing seeds to farmer in the process of loan for exchange. In this, I'm giving them 2 kg of seeds to grow for their personal consumption, and they will return me double of it, 4 kg, after the harvesting. After the harvesting, in this project, my main motive is to save food, save life, and healthy food security. Through my project, I have given the seeds to 20 farmers in 2023 and 60 farmers in 2024. And this year, I have distributed the seeds among 150 farmers. And again, I have targeted to give seeds to more than 2,000 farmers. 500 seeds in 500 farmers in 2026 and 1,000 farmers in 2027. I
Wow.
am also awarding I am also awarding to the students from national, international, and school level by for the benefit of indigenous seeds as well as forgotten foods in different state functions, school, NGOs, and many more. Through my project, I'm empowering women and girl child in biodiversity conservation, promoting organic eco farming, chemical free farming, and also strengthening food sovereignty and self resilience of communities. My main objective of my project is to provide seeds to 80% of women and girl child because they will save our indigenous land resources for the future and they will conserve it for the day-to-day life. My main mission and vision is of spreading indigenous seeds in district level, state level, national level, as well as international level. But now I am spreading the indigenous seeds in block level only, but my mission is to spread it throughout the world. So I would like to talk something about the benefit of indigenous seeds. Like it is highly nutritional value. It is very helpful for our consumption, as well as it manages some diseases like diabetes and many more. And it also is helpful for weight loss and rich in nutrition, sustainable and low input farming, soil healthy, and biodiversity, economic benefits of farmers. My vision is to promote organic farming, highlighting health and nutritional value of local crops, creating farmer friendly loan for exchange seed systems, and reducing dependency on hybrid seeds and chemical farming. Thank you so much, Action for Nature, for providing support and giving me international platform. I request you to provide me a helping hand, knowledge, and resource in future as I will work further in future for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you. Boy, talk about the indomitable human spirit from what, a dozen or so farmers to 1,000 to the world. I really applaud your vision, and I think it's definitely catching. It will definitely catch fire. There are many people in America that are espousing different aspects of that on a smaller scale, but what you've done in India is incredible. As you said, female run, just getting it off the ground in the first place in an area that maybe wasn't as aware of it here. You know, we have dry farming, etc. It's incredible. Is there any questions or accolades anybody wants to give Arsita right now? I want to definitely award her my enthusiastic clapping right now too. That I see many claps coming up the stream and many hearts coming up the stream right now. Any thoughts
I think
or
Shreya
questions?
had a question.
I
Oh
did
yes,
have a
Freya.
quick question. This is a fantastic project. Can you tell us what kinds of seeds are in the greatest demand by farmers and what kinds of
Uh,
seeds you are still trying to find?
Seeds which is found in our locality. earlier in our locality there was 2000 plus local land resources, but due to the climate change it is reduced to 20 to 30 varieties. The seeds named as in our locality according to the god's name, and the it's according to its fragrance and according to its shape, size and all.
And how did you become aware of this need? Many people don't even know where their food comes from, let alone how it's grown and what kind of seeds are used and what type of farming practices are at play. So what introduced you to this?
Farming practices of indigenous seeds is without using any type of fertilizers and hybrid seeds. It is being used only through the method of vermicomposting, as well as like cow dung and organic manure, which helps our seeds to provide a nutritional value, and it will be disease resilient and pest resilient.
Do you have a farmer in your family that turned you on to this, or you just realized this is the way we need to go?
No.
That's incredible. That's even more profound than that you've realized this is really a key aspect of our world and what needs to be taken care of. So we've gone from plastics pollution to carbon sequestration and food nutrition in just 2 minutes, you guys. This is incredible. We have another candidate who is also on fire,
Thank you,
but I don't believe he's going to be with us today. Is Josue out? Or does he have a connection?
He is in Mexico at an environmental event where the connection's not so great. He did share a video with us that we will post to our social after, but unfortunately, he's not able to join us live today. But if we want to say a few words about his incredible project, he's got tons of amazing videos online. He's fantastic. So we're sorry to have missed him, but know that he's busy doing the work that he's been doing for quite a few years now. You can see how young he is in some of these photos.
Yeah, so a real quick backstory on Josue. His dad took him on a hike up into the glaciers and said, well, maybe we can make it all the way to the top of the peak. You know, he was like 5 years old. And they spent some time in the lowlands at the base of the glacier in the moraines in Bogota, Colombia. And he became very enamored with the plants that were growing there. They were a páramo ecosystem. And I didn't realize this until I learned about his project. But this base of a glacier moraine is actually extremely important for acting as a sponge and a filter and a carbon sink for the rest of the entire downstream ecosystem, and has the ability to actually be even more of a profound positive impact than the glaciers themselves or the surrounding lower vegetation. So he took it upon himself to start letting people know about the páramo, and it became basically a catalyst for massive change, giving lectures to thousands of adults, promoting this habitat as a new area that really needed to be preserved in Bogota, to the point where many heads started turning in the government, and he was allowed, as you can see, some of these stage performances with the microphone, to turn on other adults and environmentalists and ecologists and scientists and organizers to the importance of this ecosystem. And his indomitable spirit is like a combination of, you know, a superhero and a super speaker, and a very, very, very positive, smiley attitude. So he brings in a lot of great rapport. And he also believes very firmly in the acts of creation and taking care of the acts of creation, and how it's our job to be stewards. And so he's also fueled by his faith and passion for the earth and the land and his beliefs. And so you can really see that when you listen to him. Hopefully you'll check him out. He's a very young man, and he comes from a very passionate family as well. So we'll give him a shout out. Jose Arias Caldera from Bogota, Colombia. Very well spoken, very young. Is going to be on the scene for quite a while, I can tell. So take a look at his pictures, and when you see them on our website. We're going to get ready for Aziza in the green room. One of my favorite things to say is that we are a global award, and we've been through India, Colombia, Puerto Rico, and now we're going back to our hometown here in the USA. But I have not spent much time in Virginia, and I know that I live in a bubble here in San Francisco where, you know, if I was to go grab my compost bin, you'd see it full of all sorts of things like this that I then also give to my chickens in the backyard. And then maybe I'd have meat waste. I put that into our city compost system. But Aziza said, what are we doing? There's no compost in our kitchens. There's no compost in our cafeterias. And she took it upon herself to do that. And it was no easy battle. She would tell you how many years it took to get this done. So Aziza, the mic is for you. take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aziza Kennedy. I live in Virginia in the USA. So starting my freshman year, I transitioned from a smaller middle school to a much bigger high school. And I just noticed during lunch the abundance of waste that was created, especially from food waste. And as many of you may know, when food waste is sent to landfills, it rots and produces methane gas, which is a big contributor to global warming. So I was really inspired to do something to change this. So I met with a local compost company through Zoom, and I started doing research and creating my first ever proposal. In my sophomore year, I met with my high school's president, which is the roll above principal at my high school, and he rejected the initiative. He was concerned about vermin and storage space and the workload on the staff. So there were a lot of concerns that I just had not anticipated. So then I continued to research. I filled in those holes, found solutions to all of his possible concerns. And my sophomore year, I was approved to do the spring 2024 trial run, where although we weren't actually composting, the internal system in the cafeteria was the same. Further from that, in the winter of 2025, so now into my junior year, I was still fighting for it. And in January, with just one grand signature, the composting contract with my school was signed, and we became one of the first Catholic high schools in the DMV area, which means DC, Maryland, Virginia area, to successfully implement a composting initiative. So, one of the only Catholic high schools in the area to compost. And right now, we are currently in the 2025 cafeteria expansion phase. So, in winter, we only had it in the kitchen, like the food preparation area in the back. Now we are trying to compost in all lunch periods throughout the school day. And it's been difficult, seeing a few plastic water bottles in there, but we're getting there. And with clearer signage and posters, we're definitely persevering towards success. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak about my project today.
Yeah, you are light years ahead of anybody else in your community, clearly. It's taken us here in San Francisco, gosh, at least 15 years or so to get all of our recycling, composting, and garbage to every community. And yet people still throw plastic bottles and things into the mix in the compost and other things like that without any awareness. I mean, they go into the park and they have their dog bags and they throw those into the recycle bins. It's a matter of the human condition that whatever's convenient will take advantage of. So your education will help them figure out better ways to do that. It's really great. And as you know, food waste is one of the number one contributors to global warming gases in our landfills. And so it's very important that we use that. And we can't keep taking nutrients from the farm and not bringing it back to the farm and expect the soil and the topsoil to be productive. So do we have anybody else that wants to ask some really good questions about what's happening today? Before we go on, I was just getting a note from the people that maybe, just let me double check, that Priyanche is not coming up, as Dominic is coming up next. Is that correct?
Yes, but
Okay.
I do have a question, I think, for Aziza. Let me just make
Yeah,
sure.
let's get some questions for her.
What was the most critical step you took to get your compost up and running? There's one step.
Yes, I think the most critical step for me was just having my own belief and confidence in the initiative. So I think for me, the first major step was meeting with the compost company representative and just laying out the plan, seeing what bins we'd be able to use, how it would work, because we don't compost at the school. The compost is sent to an industrial facility, so we're able to compost meat and milk and everything. And then they send that finished compost to farmers in Maryland to support our local farmers. So I think the most critical step was just meeting with that representative and knowing that it could be done and that it was possible.
Yeah, and another huge example of one person going, this doesn't look right. And I'm sure 1,000 other people over time may have said that, but you took the next step and went to the administrators and said, hey, let's just compost. And then they said, well, no, what about rats and vermin and storage and everything else? And you're like, wait, what? Okay, well, I'll take care of that. And then I'll figure it out and come back to you. And it took 3 years finally to get it into all the different aspects, right? The cafeteria, the kitchen. And then once it's dialed out and signed, sealed, delivered, and somebody else sees the model working, they might go for it, because also you're probably reducing the cost of garbage and other things like that for them. So it's win-win all the way around. I applaud you being basically almost like eco nuthead with composting here in San Francisco. I pocket things from the restaurant and bring them back home, or ask my friends not to throw stuff away. So it's incredible what you're doing. I'm very proud of you and everybody here.
Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to mention our next speaker is, I don't know if she's coming back in or not, from Nepal. Is Priyanshi coming later, perhaps?
I haven't heard from her, but it has been a really large news story in Nepal right now. There's
Yes.
some things going on, so I hope she's totally fine. But no, we don't have her online right now, but we can speak to her project just for a few minutes.
Yeah, once again, another global eco hero that's done something extraordinary. We've all seen, and I know that our first speaker, Jade, can attest to this, plastics on the beach. And a lot of those plastics in nations that have maybe less variety of footwear are going to be flip-flops, right? And so in Nepal, Priyanshi has taken it upon herself to figure out a way to recycle flip-flops and rubber-soled shoes in a massive way. She's taken them, ground them up with a huge metal roller at a factory, and then produced these extraordinary pads. Now, you may not think that that's needed, but in fact, it's critical for the comfort and health of many hundreds to thousands of people in the countryside of Nepal that sleep on a dirt floor or a straw mattress. And this provides extraordinary insulation, much more comfort, and a sound sleep, which leads to better health overall and better vigor. So we're talking about somebody that said, gosh, these things suck. Why are they all over the place? And not just throwing them away or just getting them out of the waste stream, but then turning them into a useful product that is actually, in some cases, life-saving. So we see so many different people in her shots from the villages getting these pads that are literally just awe-stricken and happy, and they can carry them with them. So do we have any questions that maybe people could ask? I can answer one or two, and then hopefully she'll be coming back to let us know. But as you know, there are quite a few things happening in Nepal right now that are transformative for their government. So there might be some challenges with her internet right now.
I did send her an email, but we can move on to the next, which is Dominic Lowen.
Yes.
He is a Spanish speaker, so we also have Mariela here to help us translate. And make sure you're unmuted, Mariela. Okay.
Yeah, I want to introduce Dominic. I've been watching his video over and over again. I speak a little Spanish, trying to tease it out. He is one of the most soft-spoken and charismatic people that we've had that's of an art background. His keen sense of observation comes through in his speech and his choice of words and the way he presents himself and his whole demeanor. He is from Paraguay, and he's documenting all the different biodiversity in his neighborhood by looking again, showing us what he notices, comparing it, what it reminds him of, having an eye for detail that only can come with spending many hours observing his subjects. And then that leads to a deep relationship and love for him. So he gets our Shimon Schwarzschild Award. I'm one of our very first founders of Action for Nature and creators of this concept of taking action. And so I would like to pass it on to Dominic Oviedo Lowen right now and his translator to get his own words out there about the animals of Paraguay and awakening the love through art and connection.
Bueno, Dominic, ahora te paso la palabra y puedes empezar a hablar.
Primeramente, muchas gracias por darme la oportunidad de estar acá con ustedes.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here with you today.
La verdad que me parece, esta organización me parece una actividad, una organización muy increíble, muy grandiosa, por decir así.
This is an incredible organization. The work that you do is amazing.
Porque creo que al fomentar a niños o jóvenes, a dar a conocer los proyectos que están creando.
Yeah, the fact that you are supporting kids to create projects, you are building. Yes, he's going to say it now.
Porque alrededor o de los jóvenes se junta el resto de personas y al lograr, al ver que un joven, un niño tiene un incentivo, las demás personas empiezan a interesarse sobre el tema y es una buena forma de de esparcir el conocimiento sobre la naturaleza.
Okay, because when other people see that young people are doing something for nature, this inspires them, right? And they also want to participate and do something for nature.
Ahora voy a comentar un poco sobre mi trabajo. Yo hice 2 libros sobre una guía para identificar aves y animales de la zona donde soy.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my work. I created 2 books. There's a guide about birds and animals. I mean, regional, local animals.
Porque
Sigue.
pienso que la educación ambiental,
Because I think that la educación que se cortó, perdón.
perdón,
Elemental, dijiste.
ambiental
Oh, I'm sorry. Because I think environmental education
empieza con dar a conocer lo que la naturaleza, los animales, las plantas, todo lo que le rodea a las personas.
Okay, so environmental education begins with spreading the word about what the animals and the plants that live around us.
Porque al fin y al cabo lo que buscamos con dar a conocer lo maravilloso que tiene la naturaleza es que las personas puedan llegar a proteger y para eso tienen que darse cuenta de la cantidad de riqueza que tienen en su alrededor.
Yeah, our goal is that people get in contact with nature, they get to know the nature around them so they can value it.
Entonces, con estos pequeños proyectos que no son grandes proyectos sobre reciclaje, no son grandes proyectos sobre estudios científicos, sino más bien es perdón,
No, so these small scale projects, they are not like big scientific projects or big environmental projects.
es simplemente dar a conocer la naturaleza, la riqueza que tiene nuestra, al menos acá en mi región en Paraguay, para que la gente pueda tener esa conciencia, para que ellos puedan cambiar desde adentro.
It's simply to let people know the nature around them so they can change their mind about the nature that surrounds them, the local nature.
Y me gustaría terminar una frase que es en lo que se basa básicamente todo mi trabajo.
So I like to finish with a phrase that, inspires my work.
Que es, no se puede amar lo que no se conoce y no se puede proteger lo que no se ama.
Okay, so the phrase is, you can't love what you don't know. You can't protect what you don't love. I love
it.
Y eso sería todo. Muchas gracias.
And, this is about it. Thank you so much.
Fantástico. Muchísimas gracias. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias a ustedes.
Las palabras son la verdad, right? That is so true. And we walk around without noticing what's around us even more than my childhood generation because we have so many distractions for our attention, whether it's racing cars or cell phones or squeezing in more events in one day. It's definitely extremely amazing and magical that you've taken this opportunity to help people stop, look and listen and appreciate what's around them. And then, of course, that service pays back tenfold, 10 más, when you look at something and have a relationship with it, and all of a sudden you fall in love with the little bird that's outside your window, or the raccoon, the mapuche that's taking your garbage, and you get to know him. And then that allows you to have the relationship that leads to protection, and then that spreads out to the entire world around you because you say, wait, where did that guy get that flower? Oh, that flower is growing in the ground, or what's in the ground? And then who's the predator on this guy? So it's all connected. Any other questions?
I'm going to translate for him.
Yes.
Okay, bueno, para resumir lo que dijo el señor, bueno, por supuesto que te felicita por el maravilloso trabajo, por inspirar a la gente que deje de estar tan conectada mirando el celular y yendo a diferentes eventos y que pare y preste atención a la naturaleza que los rodea y que se ponga y que pueda amar al pajarito que aparece por la ventana y la flor que también aparece por ahí, se pregunte de dónde viene esta flor, qué especie es. Así que lo que estás haciendo es absolutamente importante, sobre todo dado la época en que vivimos. Muchas gracias, Dominic.
Ujú, exactamente. Muchas gracias. Que le vaya bien y continúa sus estudios de los animales en el medio ambiente in Paraguay, which I have never been to, in South America. That is very good, to be spreading once again across the world. Gosh, one of these days we should do like a little connect the dots and see if we actually circumnavigate the entire world. Yes, fantastico, says Barbara. I'm going to get ready with Charmante in the green room. This is one of our first winners, if I am not mistaken, from Burundi, and also definitely one of our first winners that's speaking through their native language and protecting their local river in an area that is highly impacted by human settlement, the Giacomo River, and finding a way to protect it through planting trees and educating people in the neighborhood is no small feat. We have lots of rivers here in America that people just walk by and put trash in or sleep in or hide out in and don't take any notice. So the fact that one child can take notice and then create an amazing change is actually extraordinary anywhere and tenfold extraordinary in Burundi. So Charmante Espoir, Noguayo, I bring you to the floor if you have any opportunities to share what you would like to in your own voice or your translations. I'm not sure. Go ahead and take it away.
Are you there, Shamanti? We see you. Let's see.
It's probably very difficult to get a connection all the way from Burundi too.
Yeah, we see you, and you're not on mute.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. Okay, great.
Hello. Hello.
We can hear you.
Yes. My connection is very bad. Hello, everyone. My name is Charmante Espanduayo. Hello, my name is Charmante Espanduayo. I'm 15 years old. I'm from Burundi. I'm a young journalist who is passionate about protecting the environment. In 2021, I started a project to stop the river near my community from pollution and erosion. Together with my school biology group, we plant trees along the river to stabilize the soil. I also worked with girls of my neighborhood about funding an argument to working sanitary waste into the river, and I used social media video to raise awareness about pollution and waste management. And over the last 2 years, the trees would have grown, and the river banks have stabilized, and also the water has become safer for families and agriculture. Yes, thank you.
Did you want to add anything else?
I think
Did we just lose the connection maybe?
that was, I think we did, unfortunately, but that was wonderful. I'm so glad we got her connected. And as we heard from her, she's been working really hard to get this river cleaned up and the health of her community strengthened through tree planting and other things. It looks like we also may be missing Alice from Kenya. Oops.
Oh, I hope not.
I don't see, she did email me that she was going to join, but I unfortunately don't see her unless is Alice from Kenya, are you in the attendees? Well, we can circle back to you if we are not, but just if we want to speak to her project just for a few minutes. She was one of our first place winners, so we wanted to make sure she could join us, but Again, and we know it's really hard at connections sometimes from where she's located in Kenya.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another extraordinary example of a individual, no less a female individual, especially in a male-dominated society, as many are, sadly, taking the reins and creating unparalleled change at a very young age. So you may not know this, but the sewer systems in a lot of parts of the world are not connected. So latrines are set up where there's a waste dump, then a truck comes and gets filled up with the waste, to human waste, and then that's taken to this treatment plant. So in this particular area, the treatment plant basically has a gargantuan settling pond or lake that then off gases and puts out toxic methane that not only pollutes the air, but corrodes the metal that covers the houses or the roofs, and is extremely toxic for lungs, for young children and women, pregnant women, and is very destructive. And so she realized that maybe if we can't stop transporting the waste and filling these gaps, these lakes with the settling pond off-gassing, we could plant trees and they can help us with that too. So she's done an extraordinary job of planting around the lake, getting people to be aware of the challenges that are happening, and recognize that this is not acceptable, and to keep moving forward. And she's gotten the ear of many higher officials, and they're trying to change the way that they can treat the sewage and transport the sewage and protect the people that live around the area. And it's been going on for several generations. So people were just turning a blind eye to it, as happens in many areas where it's more poor and rural, and the voices are not so strong. So an 11-year-old's voice was stronger than 3 generations of harmed and hurt individuals that didn't have a voice. And I want to say that's one of the reasons that she got our first place award, because she was so instrumental in catalyzing a change that affected so many people for the health of the environment and for themselves. So I really wish that she could be here today in her own voice. She has an incredibly articulate video that she sent in that's very heartfelt and clear and concise. If you'd like to look it up, Alice Wanjiru is from Kenya, Africa, and her project also might influence how they utilize her plantings in other areas too. So it might catch on and be a saving grace for other parts of Africa. So we'll see if she joins us. If not, we're going to get ready to move on to Elvia, another Spanish speaker, but this time from Spain, from Paraguay to Spain. And like some of our earlier people that we mentioned, like Josue, Elvia's charismatic passion and love goes through in terms of her public speaking and her ability to turn people on to inspiring wildlife conservation. She's called Elvia the Tracker in English, and Rescuador, I think, in Espanol. And we're going to go ahead and turn it over to her so that she can give us a taste of her extraordinary positive smile, attitude, and connection to nature.
Ok, Elvia, te están cediendo la palabra, así que cuando quieras puedes empezar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much first for giving me this opportunity for being here with all of us, because for me it's very special and important to transmit to other people what I do and what is my work. Now I will speak in Spanish because my English is not so well. So, una pregunta. Ahora me presento o digo la pregunta que me mandaron.
Presentarte ya te presentaron ellos, así que haz un resumen de tu trabajo como hicieron los otros.
Bueno, pues, o sea, voy parando por frase, ¿no?
Sí, por oración, por idea, por oración, ¿ok?
Vale.
A veces es un poquito más de una oración, pero así. Gracias.
Bueno, pues yo desde pequeña he sido un amante de la naturaleza gracias a mis padres, que son los que me han involucrado en este mundo.
Okay, so since I was a little child, I'm a nature lover thanks to my parents. Okay.
Y bueno, desde pequeña he viajado por varios países, como por ejemplo, bueno, Kenia, Tanzania, Finlandia, Bulgaria, actualmente Bolivia.
Okay, so since I was a little child, I've been traveling around the world. I visited Kenya, Tanzania, Bulgaria, Bolivia.
Y desde entonces me di cuenta que cuidar la naturaleza, amarla y protegerla era mi misión en este planeta.
And since then, since I was a little child, I realized that my mission in this world is to protect and love nature.
Así que desde entonces decidí intentar transmitir todo mi conocimiento a través de alguna fuente.
So since then, since I was a little child, I tried spreading and sharing my knowledge from a source.
En este caso, escribí un libro con 11 años que se titula Cosas que me flipan de los animales.
Okay, in this case, I wrote a book when I was 11 titled Things I Love About Animals. Flipar es adorar. ¿Qué quiere decir flipar?
Make me crazy.
Okay. I didn't know that word in Spanish. Okay, so things that make me crazy about animals.
Y fue también una manera de transmitir todo mi conocimiento y mi amor por los animales y las historias vividas con ellos a través de ahí, para luego todo ese dinero recaudarlo.
Okay, and this was a way for me to spread the love I feel for all the animals in this book that I wrote. And it was a way to get funds, right? So I could collect those funds y lo ibas a recaudar
Y con ese dinero, por ejemplo, viajé a Zambia para luchar contra los contra los furtivos, anti-poaching.
Okay, so with the money, she was able to get from the book sales. She was able to travel to Zambia to fight poaching.
También hace poco estuve en Bolivia con una comunidad indígena tacana, dándoles un curso y descubriendo los secretos del Parque Nacional Madidi.
Okay, so recently I visited Bolivia. I spent time with a community there called Tacana. Okay, so I gave them a course. I taught them a class or a course on how to, tell me more, identify. ¿Qué ibas a identificar en el curso? Recordame.
Bueno, lo que hicimos fue como un curso de identificación de rastros, de conocimiento del medio, para que se formen en ecoturismo.
Okay, so this was an ecotourism course where they were trained in how to identify footprints, markings that animals leave, okay, and to familiarize themselves with the environment over there.
Y bueno, con todo esto, sin enrollarme más, solamente quería mandar un mensaje a todos aquellos niños que quieran hacer algo por el planeta.
So I would love to share a message to kids around the world.
Que no importa la edad, no importa el género. Si tú amas lo que haces, lo haces con pasión y ya tienes el conocimiento, lo tienes todo. Y además el planeta nos necesita, así que lo demás no importa.
Okay, so voy a estar por atrás. El planeta nos necesita, planet Earth needs us. So no matter how old you are, no matter your gender, but as I said, the planet Earth needs us. And if you have passion, you know, you can do something about it, about the planet.
Así que realmente con todo esto, agradecer a, bueno, pues todos estos premios que habéis hecho, vuestro trabajo, todo lo que hacéis, porque dais la oportunidad a muchísimos niños del planeta a dar a conocer pequeñas ideas de cómo proteger nuestro planeta, nuestros habitantes y a nosotros mismos.
Okay, so she wants to say thanks to this organization, the awards, because you are supporting kids all over the world in sharing their message, which helps protect not only the planet, but its inhabitants and ourselves.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Muy bien, perfecto. Muchas gracias, Elvia.
Sí, gracias a usted, Elvia. It's another very important example of taking a closer look and how that develops relationships. So being a tracker, one becomes extremely tuned in and aware of changes in the environment, right? Just like when we were looking earlier at the drawings of Dominic in Paraguay, you're looking for details, and then the details draw you in. Just like when you're getting to know a friend, you might meet them and say, "Oh, hello, what's your name? ¿Cómo estamos?" You know, and then we start talking, have things in common. We start to see we have things in common with nature. We have things in common with all the animals. We're not above or below, but equals. And by tracking them, you learn how extraordinarily intelligent and how they use different powers of observation, different techniques for finding food. They're so much better at certain things, obviously, than we are, and it just draws you in, like you said, with that passion. So I want to applaud you, Elvia. Fantástica, qué buena, and continúa sus aventuras en la naturaleza. Continue to explore, and as you said, never forget that you're right next door to an adventure with the thing that you might notice and check out. You could be tracking a roly-poly, we say, under the flower pots, all the way up to the lions and animals in your African and South American adventures. You're very, very lucky, and I can see that it's rubbed off on you in a very positive way. Any other questions, preguntas para Elvia? I've definitely watched one of her videos. She's very, very, very charismatic and positive, and she will draw you in, and you'll be ready to go
This
on
is
one
amazing.
of her trips.
Thank you for sharing that. And even through the language translation, your positivity and energy comes through. I was just wondering what your next steps might be. What are you excited to work on in the coming year?
Do you need me to translate, Elvia? Dice ella cuáles son los proyectos.
Lo he entendido.
Ok.
Sí. Lo único, lo voy a decir en español, ¿vale? Bueno, pues yo creo que mi trabajo en un futuro cercano sería también buscar otras maneras de transmitir y de motivar a otra gente.
So in my work in the near future is to I don't know, find the other ways to spread the word and to share the passion and the inspiration with other people, to reach other people, ¿sí?
Porque muchas veces el miedo a ser criticados por ser diferente nos impide el hacer lo que nos gusta.
Yeah, because sometimes the fact that we don't want to be criticized because we're different, in a way, doesn't allow us to do what we really like.
Así que, bueno, resumiendo un poco, pues hacer documentales, viajar, ojalá poderos conocer a todos vosotros en persona para compartir nuestros proyectos en persona, vivirlos, compartir conocimientos.
Yes, she would love to keep traveling. She would love to make documentaries, and she'd love to meet you in person so you can really get to see what they're working on, what they do.
Porque yo creo que para salvar el planeta no se necesitan 2, 3 o 4 personas, sino que es un trabajo en equipo. Yo creo que con gente como vosotros se podría salvarlo pronto.
She thinks that saving the planet is not an individual task, it's teamwork. And if, with people like you, she thinks it'd be possible to save it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I couldn't agree more. And we'd love to meet you as well. We'll definitely have a place for you in San Francisco anytime you'd like to come, or if you're passing through on one of your trips to some other place in South America. Well done. As you can see, a lot of our young eco heroes have a similar shared passion, and it's put out in different ways, almost like the tributaries of a river. And so that's one of the things that Shreya is going to talk about at the end, which is an extraordinary way to continue what we call those vectors of change, going in the same direction, but compounding each other so that we can have not only greater impact, but create more positive awareness and love and joy surrounding the work that we're doing to help encourage more participation. And there's a lot of things that we don't know as well that are out there. And Isha is about to tell us one of them, that my purview wasn't tuned into. And of course, when I brought it to my colleagues and peers, they were like, yes, this is a major, major concern. Isha Ande is from San Antonio, Texas, I believe. And in her neighborhood, we're talking about period poverty, meaning female hygiene products that aren't necessarily available. And you'd think that America would have those available to everybody anywhere, anyhow. But no, that's not true. It's a very poor and isolated neighborhood. And also the pollution that's produced in general from plastic products are 500 years down the line going to be decomposed, 800 years down the line. So Isha's got the most positive attitude. Talk about being able to talk about projects, Elvia, that might be looked at with like, well, I'm not sure I want to talk about female hygiene projects, but guess what? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to do something about it. And you're going to find out that it's one of the most important things that affects people socially, politically, and environmentally. And I want to applaud Isha for taking that to heart and being courageous enough to put her best foot forward, and her smile speaks for everything. So get ready for Isha Ande, our winner for Equitable Environmental Solutions to Period Poverty.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and I'm just so grateful and honored to be here. I'm really passionate about trying to find solutions, innovative solutions that actually address problems in the world today by looking at the problem more than it looks initially. And so when one of my friends didn't have access to products and couldn't attend school, I was shocked and it was horrible. And only then I realized how little some of these problems are talked about and how much they actually do need to be talked about. And so after doing further research, I realized that a solution isn't just to be distributing products like what a lot of these other organizations do or what's already been happening. We have to look at it with a more scope that goes in depth into the problem and a scope that looks at long-term impacts. And so the idea was to bring in environmental sustainability into it so I could distribute products that not only are healthier for the body, not only are reusable for up to a year and therefore save costs, but also reduce plastic waste by a ton because, believe it or not, plastic products lead up to 200,000 tons of waste annually around the world. And so I brought free access to menstrual products at my school, and I'm also conducting the project to distribute 100 environmentally sustainable cloth pads to schools in lower income areas in San Antonio. So they have medically reviewed instructions for how they can be taken care of. And I'm planning on expanding this project to other local nonprofits and even working with the Texas Diaper Bank to see if they can bring some of their access to allocate some of their funding to not just plastic products, but also cloth products as well. And so along the way, I've learned a lot about how much courage has a huge factor in doing any of this work. It's all about being able to really push yourself out there, to think a little differently, to ask those questions that people try not to ask, to say those things that people try to avoid saying, because a lot of these problems and issues today are so stigmatized. And I just want to congratulate all of y'all winners. Everybody here is doing so amazing, taking those steps and really showing that courage makes such a huge impact in the world. Even though it might be a couple of steps here, it's going to accumulate into ripples, into so many big things later on in the world.
Absolutely. Very well said. I'm sure that you've got lots of questions. I saw one come up earlier. Did you see that, Layla? Is there a question or comment you could read or no? I was wondering if I saw one pop up in the chat and I missed it.
I didn't see one, but we do have a question. How did you begin the conversation around sustainable menstrual hygiene, and what was your initial response?
So I brought up the conversation by really identifying those statistics that there are so many girls out there that don't get the products they deserve, and that this issue really isn't talked about when there's so many different approaches we could be having in order to take action. And the response I received was, believe it or not, really positive because what I said resonated with a lot of girls that I know, with a lot of women who also didn't know this was an issue because they never experienced it, but realized that, hey, this is something we do need to talk about, and this is something we do need to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is another reminder that when you do hit upon like a watershed moment like this, the dam breaks and everybody starts to raise their voices when somebody's got the courage to speak up. And this is not, how should I put it? This is something that you wouldn't think is happening in America so much, that somebody would stay home from school because they didn't have the proper products to protect them in their classroom, right? But this is rampant in different parts of the world. In Africa, women might be sequestered at home for this time during their period, not allowed to work or be in the field or do anything that would require them to be outside. And that, of course, is another way to, unfortunately, keep them under patriarchal control, if you want to call it that. And it's incredible that you've been able to show that and illuminate that in America and spread the word so that we can easily talk about this and get it out there. And I know that you're going to work on diapers possibly and other things. And so hopefully you can break through the big Johnson & Johnson manufacturers, et cetera, and have them realize that, yeah, you can't keep making money on us by sending us these quick and dirty fixes that are going to then be problematic for the people down the line and the planet down the line. So well done and very well spoken and extraordinary work in an area that I don't think we've ever seen in Action for Nature, which is something so obvious and everyday that then it becomes critical issue when you put the light on it. Any other questions or comments for Aisha? We're seeing lots of applauses and hearts go up, of course. Well, then I'm going to gently pass the baton, I should say, the straw hand knit container baton to Nicolina Pappas. One of the common challenges in our society are single-use plastics, and we all try to think of different ways to reduce them. We're going places and we're handed them. We try to refuse them. And how do we have access to things that we need, like a straw, when we're out and about? It's going to get dirty. We don't know how to carry a metal straw. But Nicolina not only created a beautiful solution with sewing these things, but raised over $16,000 in the process. So ramped it up to a large level. Super positive, got some great publicity in Illinois about her turtle conservation project. I think you started it when you were very young, somewhere around 6 or 7, which doesn't surprise me given your passion. And also, once again, the human connection to living things around the world and realizing that nobody wants to see a sea turtle choking on a plastic straw, right? And so we want to promote your work and talk about how you've been so far reaching from just that single idea to reaching the government and other offices in your area. Take it away for us there, Nicolina Pappas, with your turtle project.
Thank you. So like Chris said, my name is Nicolina Pappas. I'm from Rock Island, Illinois, but I go to school in Bettendorf, Iowa. Now since the award, I'm now 14. So I've had my nonprofit organization since I was 8 years old. I started that by seeing the viral video of a sea turtle with a plastic straw up its nose and like the marine biologist taking it out. And as an 18-year-old, I was genuinely disturbed. That should not be happening. Why aren't there more efforts to sort of extract plastics from our environment? So I went and begged my mom for sewing lessons and created these things called that hold metal straw holders that are made of cloth. And ever since then, we've raised about to date from like a few other awards and also like selling these metal straw holders, we've raised about $30,000 now.
Right.
And yeah, so today, like in this day and age, we've sort of geared towards conservation education. I've presented to thousands of school-aged kids on what they can do to help and how their actions every day affect, like, it's a domino effect. It affects something else every single action you take. And recently I started a Skip the Plastic campaign, which is where we urge restaurants and other eateries to only hand out single-use plastic straws and cutlery upon customer request. And it also encourages the customer to say no thank you to these items at restaurants. And I've gotten 14 resolutions from city councils on that. And I've also recently testified in front of the Illinois State House of Representatives and the Illinois State Senate, and it has gone through both sides as a resolution. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, that can't go unnoticed in terms of how profound that kind of change is, because we've all wanted to get takeout, and we might mention, if we remember, no plastic items, I'm going to take it home with me and stuff like that. But Nicolina's initiatives make it so much easier not to forget that, like, only if somebody requests it should they be getting a plastic spoon, fork, or straw. And it makes a huge difference, because at that one moment you might just say, okay, that's fine. But then 800,000 people saying, okay, that's fine, is 800,000 straws, spoons, forks that just get thrown out immediately, that don't even get used, or if they do get used, it's one time, like you said. But if somebody doesn't have it, doesn't request it, they'll take that extra effort and go home and get one, or they'll carry an extra one in their purse or their pocket or something like that, in your cloth bag as well. So this is a great example, what Nicolina's taken as an 8-year-old and ramped it up to a larger level. So we never want to discount the power of one small idea that, if taken whole, can grow like into this extraordinary tree, the tree to remove plastics. And it's challenging and it can be overwhelming, but when you have many people like this at your disposal, we can see how it works. And it started way back when Jacques Cousteau first started noticing the very, very, very first plastics in the Mediterranean, of course, which is a very broad sea, in France. And then we've been at it ever since, to now we find plastic bottles at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, 30,000 feet below the surface of the ocean. And we know it's there, but then we can reduce it right now so that it can be clean for future turtles and other animals and people, etc. Any questions for Nicolina? And I'm just so pleased. I wish we could get this Refuse initiative at every single city and every single state and country in the world. Of course, it's just not necessary.
I have
Thank
a quick
you.
question.
Yeah.
Nicolina, can you tell us about what some of the challenges were as you went through the legislation and legislative processes, and also maybe share a breakthrough moment as you went through and did that?
Yeah, so I began starting out with a few people like telling me, because I'm a kid, it's going to be extremely hard to get through this. That's definitely going to be one of the obstacles I have to overcome. So it's about a year process. First I met with my state senator, Senator Mike Halpin. And he was really helpful. He went through the process. He went through what I have to submit before what date in order to get into the spring session. So it was about a year where I submitted a draft for them to look over. And we got there. The big kind of breakthrough moment for me was when I was in front of their environmental council, and it was going across the room, and they were all saying, they're all backing it and saying that they would pass it, and they all had comments on it. So
That's a fantastic answer that once again resonates with the win-win part of not wasting money, not wasting resources, and not polluting the planet. We've seen that over and over again, how an environmental initiative can really catch on if people realize, wait, maybe we could save money on throwing out our trash if we compost it. Wait, maybe we could save money on our overhead if we don't give every single person a plastic spoon, straw, or fork. And then that's more money for us as a business. And then also, saving money, saving the planet. It's huge. We obviously have to get further than that to save the planet for saving money 20 generations, 10 generations, 7 generations down the line. But what you're doing is extraordinary. Yeah, and Barbara, our other board, says great advocacy, Nicolina, and great determination to wait a whole year after you first submitted your work and to even get an audience with the senator. I don't know how many of us can just pick up the phone and do that. So great leveraging your connections to get that going as well. And Illinois, right out there in the middle of the country, another extraordinary eco-hero from Texas to Illinois. Now we're going to go all the way to the Great Lakes of Michigan, the largest freshwater holding in the globe, practically, certainly in the United States. And we've got another one of everybody's super positive and affable, but Nathania Fonseca's got this planet forward concept that will give you, Alice is asking how to sign in. Okay, so see if you can find Alice. She might be able to give us some spots. But how to put out like millions of wildflower seeds, like extraordinary positive change for butterflies and bees and birds and everybody else in the environment, creating a wonderful place to live. So Nathania, would you please tell us a little bit about Plant It Forward and how that works?
Yes, thank you so much. I'd first just like to start off by thanking Action for Nature for this awesome opportunity and saying that to all the other eco heroes today. I'm even more inspired listening to all of you. That was incredible. And my name is Nathania. I'm a senior at the International Academy Macomb in Metro Detroit. And growing up in the American Midwest, and especially growing up in Michigan, surrounded by the Great Lakes and lush forests and all these cornfields, I didn't really understand how severe the climate crisis was until I got a little older. And one thing I wish is that the adults in my life and the teachers in my life had taught me about it earlier on. But I do feel like learning about it later in life, when I had a better understanding of the world, made me more equipped to tackle it in my local community. But given how overwhelming and daunting the climate crisis was, I was wondering how I, as a student, can actually make a difference. And I decided that I was going to plant a tree. And I think that the action of planting something is one of hope and optimism because you are trusting it to grow. And I decided not only to plant one, but I planted 100 when I was a freshman. And after that, I would say my project really just kept on growing. And now I work with 4 of Michigan's cities and communities, and the Plant It Forward mission is environmental conservation, remediation, and justice. And so I kind of do a lot of different projects, but the main crux of Plant It Forward is doing hands-on environmental remediation, actually putting plant material into the soil. So I would say the most ambitious project that I've embarked on was planting a microforest in the city of Warren. And Warren is Michigan's 3rd biggest city, and it's very industrial. And the factories, the industrial output has always been prioritized over the green spaces. And so I talked to the mayor one day and I was like, these people, they don't have anywhere to go outside and the air is so unclean. We need to do something about it. And then I started working with the county and I was able to secure $30,000 in funding for this microforest. And we planted over 7,000 native perennials. We planted 650 shrubs and 500 trees. And just seeing how that, and we planted it in a community that was in an area of economic and environmental justice. And so, because oftentimes trees are planted in more affluent areas, and it's so important that we target the places that need them most. And aside from that, public green spaces are my main thing. That's totally my jam. So I like planting seeds of all sorts of native flowers and whatnot. So I've planted a hummingbird habitat, I've planted a heritage garden, and I'm currently working on a native wildflower meadow. And aside from that, I like to combat issues that aren't necessarily in my local area, like the water crisis or saving endangered species. And so to do that, I found that working with students is really valuable to host fundraisers. And in doing so, we've gotten to raise over $1,100 for water wells in Eswatini and $300 for endangered species. And so I would say that the main lesson that I've learned in planting it forward is that we can't accomplish things alone and we have to work with each other. And people always say, we youth are the future, but I would argue that we are the present. And there's no better time to save the planet. We are running out of time. And I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to share my story and encourage others to get involved.
Trey, you want to ask your question in person? It looks like a good one there.
Yes, this is so inspiring. Thank you for sharing your passions. My question is, you have so many inspiring interests. How do you choose which challenges to focus on?
That's a really great question. And, like I said, in Michigan, we have a lot of natural spaces, and that's great. But when you get to the more suburban and urban areas, you find a lot of that to be running out. So, for example, in Warren, where there's such a heavy industrial output, I found that planting photosynthesis enhanced trees would be more valuable because they can sequester more carbon. But then in somewhere like Macomb Township, where the soil is just there's so much clay and a lot of plant material can't grow, I found that planting really resilient, hardy natives can be better. So just honestly looking at your local community and analyzing the problems, and then just kind of finding what solutions you can do and how your passions can help make them come true.
All right, I want everybody just to grab their heads right now and go because that's what everybody has been doing to me, blowing my mind. And it'll give you a little stretch as well. But Nathania's an example of an idea, planting a tree, freshman year, taking hold, and she's so well spoken and so well read in her field that she's able to speak to the quality of the soil. We want natives there, to an area that's industrial pollution, and we want photosynthetically enhanced trees to pull in the carbon. this is an example of maybe not knowing any of that to start with. I just want to plant a tree, and it's inspiring, and it's going to be there. It's an act of faith, to becoming literally an expert in your field. Nathania, I don't think any other ecologist could argue that you know more or as much as a forester in the U.S. Forest Service in regards to your understanding of planting it forward. Extraordinarily proud to have you on one of our talks, to let everybody know also the importance of partnership, that the youth is now embrace the challenges together so that we have the resiliency to be held up like, a net when we're falling, and then to be raised up with each other's arms and voices to do more work the next day. Because as I said earlier, do what you can when you can. Some days you're going to be able to run a marathon. Other days you'll be lucky just to get up and stretch and touch your toes and get out the door, but you're still in the race. And that's where you guys all come in to be the heroes of our day. Anybody have anything else to say to Nathania? Great work. Everybody has said this here. And, as a San Francisco local, seeing small little public spaces grow in the inner city area where I live, such as Bayview and the Excelsior and Visitation Valley, it's changed entire neighborhoods from dilapidated and somewhat difficult to live in to bright, shiny, happy community gathering spots. And it can be just a little median. Like there's one in the Fillmore friend started that just blows me away. It's like a busy street on Divisadero, and she planted the median, and people just drive a little slower and check it out as they go by. So hats off to you, as well as everybody else here today. Right now, I think that we might have Alice. Do we see Alice or no? She disappeared again on us?
I saw her, and then I asked her to start a video, but then I just saw her drop off. So I'm not
Well,
sure.
we'll see if she joins in at any time. Just interrupt me and channel her straight in, because I just want to give air to 3 of our finalists and weren't able to be here today. And I'll be brief so that we can continue on with the live feed and people that are actually speaking to things in their own words. But we have another compost award winner here, Bhuti Bhattari from Nepal, and she realized that the kitchen waste could not only be used to create fertilizer to grow more plants, but somehow she, I believe, created a stove through the kitchen waste to create biogas and harness that energy. So Girls Leading the Organic Way was Bihuti's work. In Nepal, once again, 2 winners from Nepal, which I don't think we've ever had before. And she was able to then spread that through her community network, right? Which is the network of women in the kitchen throughout her community, and then expanding that to other places. And people would take notice because they realized that they could grow other plants in their gardens better. And they might even be able to create some fuel to cook with as well. So congratulations to Bhuti. Now, that's our 16-year-old, but we're going to go halfway down to Avela Johnson, who, if you see her speak, her volume can't be turned down because her voice is so loud no matter what the setting. She is extremely passionate about plastics and turning them into something artful and aware. She calls it the plastic parade or the plastic fashion show to prevent waste pollution. And she's been able to parade through her school, create positive change with her teachers and friends by having these fashion shows made from single-use plastics, and created awareness to just basically reduce waste prevention in the first place, keep them out of the waste stream. And if they're out there right now, to utilize them for other reasons. I mean, we have all gone to the arts and crafts stores and bought sequins and glitter, which of course, once again, can just go right back into the waste stream. Well, why not use what you have available already with your single-use plastics? So we give Avela an honorable mention for extraordinarily positive work, and she's going to go real far. This is another example, just like Nathania, of getting an idea. Like, I want to plant a tree. I don't want to see this in the garbage. So I'm going to put it on and show people that it's here. And then she'll probably in the next 5 or 10 years have something extraordinary else to show us. Are there questions from somebody about either Bhuti or Avela?
I was seeing somebody raise their hand from the attendees, but I haven't been able to get a question from the chat yet. So I'm not sure if anybody has general questions and comments For any of our winners, we did have a few people drop off just for other obligations that they had.
Right. Yeah, we appreciate all of you guys taking the time to do this. We know that your sports schedules, personal schedules, family schedules, internet connections are all over the place. So if you have to leave, take off right now. But if you can stay, I want to tell you a little bit about Lucille Morehouse. She was our Lucille's Pollinator Project winner. She also distributed thousands of seeds and packets, similar to Nathania in a way, but started from a very basic premise that we need to make people aware of the wildflowers that are in their neighborhoods versus, say, planting non-natives from the gardening store. And oh, it looks like Alice might be coming on board. And she was able to distribute thousands and thousands of seeds packets globally. She's trying to get this initiative out there. And she's very just low-key and positive about it, and wants to very much remind everybody that if you can plant native seeds, they'll do much better, they'll take hold, and they may be able to even continue to plant for year in and year out. Trey, did you want to add anything to any of the people that are not here, or are you ready to take the reins for a minute?
I'm ready to dive in, but I wanted to first briefly mention something that hasn't been touched on, which is that everyone who has won an Eco Hero Award today has not only demonstrated incredible grit and determination, whether or not you realize it or not, you're all actually subject matter experts in the areas that you've taken on. You may not have started out that way. You probably did not start out that way, but through your dedication to making a difference, you've learned so much that most adults would not know about these spaces, and most scientists and researchers might not know either. So that passion leads to a depth of knowledge that is impressive and, frankly, as a participant and a witness, just astounding to see from people so young. So you should be so proud of yourselves for the work that you are doing.
That's it. Raise your hand and pat yourself on the back. And before we lose her, Shreya, I want to put the spotlight on Alice if she is available. Alice, we're just going to say thank you for joining and take it away, because we have missed you and we're so appreciative of your hard work in Kenya planting trees around the sewer treatment plant. Did we lose her again? No.
Hello, ready?
Yes, ready.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Oh, look at you.
As you know, I'm Alice, the girl who planted more than 20,000 trees, and has also advocated for planting trees at the Roy sewer line. So I'm really happy, ecstatic that I've been able to achieve this award through my hard work and, of course, talking. So I'm really happy. It's amazing that I've been able to achieve this award, being able to get first place. It's an absolute honor, and I look forward to greater things in the future. And I say thank you to you all, to my fellow competitors, and it has been a great competition. Thank you.
Well, you're very soft-spoken. Can you tell us how in the world you got an audience with the administrators and government officials to get something that's been polluting the environment for so many years to get started on a positive direction with your tree planting and you're raising awareness there around the sewer ponds?
Yes. So at an early age, I was also nominated to be the Kenya Scouts Association Climate Change Ambassador. They have pushed me to greater lengths, and I've been able now to achieve this because of them and also because of NEMA. So in NEMA is National Environment Management Authority, which deals with the environment here in Kenya, recycling, all that has to do with conserving our environment and taking care of our environment.
That's fantastic. What are you wearing today? Are you wearing the 2025 Eco Hero Award sash, or is that from another organization?
Yes, I am. I am wearing, and I'm proud about it. And I'm really ecstatic. Usually I'm not this ecstatic, so it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
We are so thankful that you could slam dunk the talk today to be our capstone speaker. first place winner, female, Kenya, taking change to another level and affecting thousands of people around the neighborhood, like you said, from the iron corrosion to the air, to then providing with more beautiful trees in the neighborhood. Do we have any questions for Alice today on her extraordinary journey, starting with NEMA at a young age to where she is now? And clearly, where are you going to go next? Because you're going to keep moving forward, I know, with your positive and strong will. What's your next step?
My next step is to plant more than 1 billion trees. 1 billion trees.
Billion with a B.
Yes, million.
Million, okay.
Yes.
And how will you get a hold of that many trees? Will the government take your advice and help you with that?
I'm fundraising through the school and also the Kenya Forest Service.
That's fantastic. Do we have any other questions or accolades for her? We're getting lots of hearts and lots of clapping hands. And you've been at this now for probably 8 years or so, something like that, since you started as a young girl?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I
incredible.
started at 5. Yes.
Did you want to say anything, Layla, before we go to open questions and answers right now?
I think that is it. We definitely
Thank you, Alice.
So glad that Alice could join us. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, everyone. I think we'll have Shreya close us out with a few comments, unless anyone has any questions for each other. Now is the chance, or we also have the Q&A. If any audience members have any questions at all for our eco heroes that we're all from all over. So we're very happy to all be here.
Is that a question I heard on the background, or that's just some background noise?
I think that's just some background noise.
Well, I want to hand it over to Shreya then. Thank you for your patience, everybody in the audience, getting through and waiting for you. I know you have butterflies in your stomach and pollinators flying around your head, getting your turn coming up next. One last word I will leave you with is resiliency. You all have displayed extraordinary resiliency in the face of these major challenges and have persevered. So maintain that resiliency through each other and your network. Maintain the knowledge that what you're doing is important and valued, and maintain that resiliency knowing that your love for nature, as Jane Goodall and others, and also Rachel Carson, a very prominent conservationist, have said, will sustain you. Your love of nature is like the nuclear power source of our movement, giving you that courage and dedication and sustainable energy to move forward. And Shreya is an example of that. She's been with us since she was a young girl, and now is, in fact, a very, very important member of our team as a college graduate from Stanford in our board. Shreya, would you like to introduce the new Eco Hero Alumni Network program and tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yes, indeed. It's so lovely to be able to close out this event. This is an event I look forward to every year. So, hi, my name is Shreya Ramachandran. I was an eco hero back in 2017, if you can believe that, and I've been part of this community ever since. And I really want to emphasize to all of you that this really is an amazing community. And this is your village as you continue to build and continue forward in the environmental space. So if you haven't already, just take a moment, look virtually to your left and to your right on the Zoom screen. If you're able to, send a message to the person to your left, say hi. You've all now been introduced. You know what your projects are about. Take a moment to make that community real and to start connecting with your fellow now Eco Hero alumni. Action for Nature is an organization that's not just about presenting this award, it's about building community and building up young environmentalists, young eco heroes, so you can continue to make an impact for years and years to come. And for that reason, over the past several months, I've been working to develop programs for our Eco Hero alumni. And I'm really excited to launch 2 new programs today that you, as our Eco Hero class of 2025, will be the first to have access to. So the first one is EcoHero Connects. To make sure that you continue to have opportunities to learn from and connect with each other, we're going to be launching a webinar series where every other month we will have a different topic set in a different time zone so people from around the world can join, where eco-heroes like yourself can give lightning talks, share your knowledge on certain topics, and connect with each other to share best practices and learn more about topics ranging from biodiversity and nature conservation to reducing plastic pollution to how to work with governments, how to fundraise, and more. So we will be putting these topics up based off of the interests that you have and the expertise that you all are willing to share. And signups and registrations for that will open shortly, and we hope you will all take advantage of that opportunity. The second program that we're very excited to announce is a mentorship program. And this comes from us hearing from you all that you are excited to learn more from folks who come before you in the environmental space and foster more intergenerational collaboration. So for that reason, we're launching a alumni mentorship network that is currently only going to be open for this year's winners. So if you sign up, you'll be paired with a board member or a judge or a reader and have 4 to 5 sessions to discuss your goals, where you want to go next with your projects, and receive feedback and support. So the information on how to sign up and be part of this program will be released shortly. And I also wanted to give a huge shout out to both Layla and Lily, who have done so much to help bring these programs to fruition and played a huge influential role in making this happen, as well as the rest of the Action for Nature board. So thank you all so much, and I hope you'll take advantage of these new opportunities.
Yeah, that's tremendous. This is one of the first times that we really tried to coalesce our ideas into a mentorship program as well as a network, and we couldn't have done it without your help. It's clearly the case that Shreya knows what she's doing in this arena much better than some of us older participants and has catalyzed it. Well done. Layla, notwithstanding, you know everything that's going on in this entire project.
Thank you so much, both of you. Really quickly, I just wanted to mention too, there is a Facebook group if you happen to be on Facebook for our alumni. That's been around for a little while, and our goal with the alumni network is to again, just like Sherry was saying, foster connections between you all and really help support each other. You all over the world and so many different projects, many that tie together in huge ways. So I just wanted to say thank you again for being here, and we hope to continue to hear from you for years to come. So that's all I have for me. Thank you again.
That's fantastic. Do we want to hear from any other board members before we finalize our clapping and salutations for this extraordinary 2025 Young Eco Hero Award ceremony? Beryl or Barbara, did you have anything that yours on the top of your tongue? And there's many other board members out there too, past and present, that have contributed to the growth of this organization that we want to celebrate and thank, and of course, remember.
I just want to thank you all for being here, for the work you do. To the audience, I hope you all are as inspired as we are every day by the work of these young people. And if you would like to be more involved as a donor or a volunteer or a reader or a mentor, you know where to find us. Your website is right up there for you, and you can do all of those things through our website. Thank you all, and thank you for making my day. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Beryl, did you want to have any closing comments?
Yes, thank you to all our speakers. You've been so inspiring and amazing. And I wish you all the very best of luck in your projects. And I'm really looking forward to our alumni group expanding. Thank you, Shreya, for getting this started out. I think it would be a great way for everybody to stay connected and grow and learn from each other. So thank you for all the work you do. It's not easy, and I congratulate you.
Very good. Well, I will thank you from the heart of all the animals and plants in the world through the connection of our little body here, Spike, the trees and the strawberries in the backyard. Thank you. And once again, this is a springboard for you. Action for Nature Awards are very well received in the community of environmental awards education. So put those down on your resumes, and maybe they can help you get some more funding and keep connecting with others as you grow older, for other ways to promote yourself. Because remember, all the publicity counts, and you never know when somebody might take initiative and action. Some of our award winners that weren't able to come today got picked up by National Geographic, as you know, and they've got like 11,000 views for a presentation to create environmentalism in their communities in Africa, because they're so well spoken and passionate, and people take notice and they want to be around you because of that. And they just don't know that they want to be around you until they meet you. And so that's where you can leverage this. So I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to pass it on to Layla to do the final closing, because she has her hand on the button, and she will turn us off to rest and rejuvenate and to grow our roots deeper. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. I will make sure this video is posted along with the slides, share via email and social and everything. So thank you again, and have a beautiful day.